What is loving liberation, and who are parts of the self? So the self is this divine essence of consciousness that is flowing through the body-mind. And the body-mind has a specific way of providing navigation through hundreds of trillions of energetic pathways that have been affected by every moment of personal experience in relation with the well-being of specific internal attachment needs. And these hundreds of trillions of energetic pathways, carrying unconscious memories among their infinite data, may be described through and explored through 4 succinct regions, which kind of simplifies the concept of hundreds of trillions of pathways that have been affected by every moment of life for decades, right? To be able to look at them through just 4 specific regions of energetic information. So these 4 succinct and distinct subconscious regions each carry specific navigational priorities and intentions and information that affect the way we think and feel and move and perceive and orient ourselves with our own existence and with our surroundings and with other people and with interactions and experiences and situations. There's all this navigation from the body-mind through hundreds of trillions of energetic pathways. And those are organized in relation with the well-being of specific attachment needs. But parts of consciousness or aspects of the self are not defined by experience or brain-body wiring. And so all of this navigational information that lets us know who we are and what life is and how to engage with life and all of this stuff has absolutely nothing to do with the truth of the self. So who is the self, and how do we get to know the self? Parts of consciousness, subconscious parts, aspects of self-essence who are flowing through the body-mind and comprise most of the essence of the self who is within the human experience moment to moment. These parts of the self are love's sacred embodiment, love's sacred champion, love's sacred presence, and love's sacred witness. And these aspects of the self receive love, preserve love, give or extend love, and witness or observe or perceive love. And throughout different experiences of life are energies of love. They carry different vibrational frequencies, and when those are very low or slow frequencies of love, they might not feel like love, but experiences carry energies that can be traced back to love. And so parts of the self are these aspects of consciousness within us who are receiving energies, preserving energies, extending energies, and perceiving energies. And so what is being perceived and how it's being perceived are not parts of the self. The energies that are being received and how they're being received are not the truth of the parts of the self. The energies that are being preserved and how they're being preserved are not energies of the self. The energies that are being given or extended and how that's being experienced are not parts of the self. Those are all components of personal experience in relation with navigation from the body-mind's wiring being activated. But the parts of the self are the aspects of consciousness who are within those moments of receiving, perceiving, preserving, and extending these energies that can be correlated with an intention of love. And as we distinguish aspects of the self from components of experience, and as we distinguish the identity of the self from these aspects of body-mind wiring, then we can start to cultivate loving liberation as we get to know who the self really is. And then subconscious parts get to be lovingly liberated into the truth of the identity of their authentic essence without being restricted or restrained or contained or limited by the body-mind wiring navigating experience. And this is one of the infinite purposes, the purposeful potentials for the liberated consciousness diagram. It's called liberated consciousness because the essence of self can cultivate this liberation when it realizes that it is love and it is not the same thing as all this body-mind wiring. And so in the liberated consciousness diagram, there are all these different components of the self, trillions of self aspects flowing through hundreds of trillions of energetic pathways, but it can be succinctly explored through 4 specific regions of body-mind wiring affecting 4 distinct regions of parts of the self. And as the parts of the self are liberated into their true identity as love, then they have more power, authority, and opportunity to influence body-mind wiring and shapeshift it, to expand it into a greater sense of attachment well-being, which assists in rewriting the unconscious memories and all these information and neural wiring that's navigating existence. And then the self gets to be itself and have power to resculpt body-mind wiring so that the brain and the body provide more effective navigation in relation with who the self actually is. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that so beautiful? I think it's so incredible. I think it's so absolutely incredible. And it's a journey, you know? It's not like you get there and you're just suddenly in constant liberation. It's a practice, you know? It's a practice you show up for every day. It's a practice that you continue expanding awareness into. It's a practice that fuels the journey of life into greater levels and heights of loving liberation with greater depths and expanses of restoration and transformation in that process. And so loving liberation is when parts of the self can know who they are independent of experience, and the identity of the self is independent of body-mind wiring. And liberation can happen as these self aspects know the identity of the essence, the truth of their essence. And we can explore that through the liberated consciousness diagram and then have so much more power in everyday life. If these concepts, truths, energies, or infinite possibility resonate with you, I invite you to explore the liberated consciousness diagram and its infinite potential. There's a webpage I've developed that shares a treasure trove of all the amazing treasure maps and diagrams that have been cultivated through 20,000+ hours of in-depth implicit revelations, case study explorations, and lots of different purposes for this one seemingly simple diagram. Has so much potential. And then there's a wide variety of services and offerings, creations, courses, playbooks, practices, and ways to connect with me through loving liberation consultations or soul sessions, or however you want to describe them, and treasure mapping services and all kinds of amazing stuff. We can connect one-on-one or in a small group if you have a group of friends you're sharing the spiritual awakening journey with or the healing journey of loving liberation with. Lots of different opportunities. There's Restoring Consciousness Toolkit and Liberated Consciousness Healing Journey course and subconscious affirmations and the treasure mapping services, and lots of different ways to explore and apply this liberated consciousness diagram to fuel this incredible journey of loving liberation. And there's different layers and degrees also. Some offerings are a smaller, shorter term sort of thing, and some are a little bigger and more expansive. So there's kind of something for everyone, just depending on what you're looking to invest and get out of the journey. But the Liberated Consciousness Diagram has so much power, so much potential, and it's shared through a lot of different offerings. So please feel free to explore that and connect with me through Kristin's Consciousness Consultancy if you feel inspired. And you can always complete the Connect with Kristin form on the homepage of my website with any clarifying questions about any of the stuff that I share. I would be happy to connect with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you, and continue exploring the identity of your essence as love. And notice in every moment how these parts of yourself are receiving energies, perceiving energies, preserving energies, and extending energies. And in that process, these parts of the self are the embodiment, the champion, the presence, and the witness of pure, sacred, infinite, divine, unconditional love. And everything else is just an illusion that gets to be rerouted and reconstructed and rewired and transmuted and transformed and resculpted as we collectively expand into all that we are here to be as sacred, divine expressions of love. Infinite blessings.